Good morning, everybody. Vipul, can you confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Let's give it another minute and we will start. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy calendars and joining us today for this web. I see Arvind's message. Arvind, are you able to hear us now? Perfect. Thank you. At ZainTECH, we work with organizations across diverse sectors to help them modernize their digital operations. And one challenge that we consistently see while we're speaking with customers is that video infrastructure is growing. More cameras, higher resolutions, longer retention requirements. But while the volume of video increases, extracting value from that video still remains a challenge for most organizations. Today's session is about changing that conversation. We'll explore and focus on key aspects, such as how are organizations able to reduce storage and bandwidth costs, eliminate the complexity of managing fragmented and archaic surveillance systems, and most importantly, getting business value out of all the video intelligence of the video that we have. I'd like to now hand over to Mustafa, our Vice President of Product and Marketing at ZainTECH. He'll give us a quick introduction about ZainTECH, followed by Kush Attar and Omar Khatib, who will walk us through the platform, the solution architecture, key capabilities, deployment models, and how organizations are realizing ROI. In terms of a small request, please feel free to drop your question and answers in the Q&A section on the right side, and we will address them in the last 15 minutes. Thank you, and over to you, Mustafa.
Thank you, Nidhi. And thank you everyone for joining. Good morning to you all. So before getting to the product, I'd like to give you a quick sense of who ZainTECH is, because this will enable you to see how this platform became possible with all the infrastructure, partnership, and capabilities that we have. So ZainTECH is the digital and ICT arm of Zain Group, which is one of the region's most trusted and largest telco groups. It's operating across 7 countries, and it's growing beyond that. So today we have operations within digital services, wholesale, and fintech, which serve well over 60 million customers. And as you can tell, this is not just a number. It shows how we have been entrusted and accustomed to managing mission critical infrastructure across some of the most compliant and complex industries around. And this applies beyond. It's not just within our group. We also serve enterprise customers within critical mission critical industries, whether it be government and banking in the same way. So in the context of today's discussion, this shows us that we treat our services with that sense. We focus a lot on resiliency, cloud resiliency, data residency, and sovereign infrastructure as well, with a focus on service continuity. Next, please. So the way we have grown has been very strategic. So since our formation in 2021, we've made very specific targeted acquisitions on cloud services, cloud native engineering, security, and infrastructure. And with each of those, we have added a layer of capability, while in parallel, of course, growing our own services, our own IP, and merging all of these together in order to, as a result, become a partner of trust. And as you can see, we're also a partner of the year for some of the top hyperscalers and partners out there. And then we combined all of this together in order to, with a breadth of portfolio, to really promise our customers to become more digital, intelligent, and resilient in their operations. And again, to today's discussion, when we speak of VSaaS and compression, we don't look at it as a segregated service, whether be it between hardware and software. We blend it all in the same way that we have blended our capabilities to offer it in a SaaS, cloud, managed services, to really be up to the enterprise grade level of service that we promise our customers. Next, please. So our footprint is also a testament to the value that we offer our customers. So when it comes to infrastructure, where we host our sovereign cloud, where we host our SOC operations and NOC operations, it's across the region. So whether be it KSA, UAE, Oman, Iraq, as you can see, Kuwait, Jordan, Bahrain, wherever we operate, we have a local infrastructure to maintain our local sovereignty. We have local teams on the ground to deliver the service in the manner required and the SLA required by the customer as well. And this matters a lot when we speak of critical services and also managing the data regulation. We've also have many certifications, as you can see, when it comes to the services that we offer, CREST, ISO, and then we'll focus a bit more on these down the line. But this shows how we can have high performance application and operations across the region while maintaining our data sovereignty from the data center and service delivery perspective. Next, please. So this slide reflects, the operational backbone to every managed service that we run. So when we speak of the data centers, we have 14 data centers up to today, 7 countries presence and growing as well, 800 plus 850 special employees, the partners that we serve, and the regional NOC and SOC operations, which are growing on a yearly basis. And that shows that what distinguishes us as being a managed service provider with the depth of capabilities to really help the customers at scale and deliver this value at scale. And this is the promise, again, that we give both our partners and our customers when we deliver services and value. So, all of what we've said before, the size of our operation, the depth of our organization, and how we have grown has allowed us to really have a very wide portfolio. But we always go back to a key promise, whereby we say ZainTECH falls into 3 pillars. And this is how we help our customers become more digital, more intelligent, and more resilient. Within each of those pillars lie many offers, and all of these offers obviously spill towards this promise that we give our customers. So in today's context, we speak of digital, and when we speak of VSaaS, this really covers a lot of what's written there. It helps organization within their process automation, improving experience as well when we speak of analytics, and modernizing their applications. But also when we zoom out of today's discussion as from the VSaaS and compression perspective, we still offer much more to our customers, from the digital app modernization, next-gen experiences. When we speak of intelligent as well, we have a framework, a pillar of how we serve our customers. It starts with AI readiness, so we help our customers manage their data, governance, and have their data ready to start the AI journey. And then we get into the advanced analytics, all the customer and operational insights we help with. Then we grow into generative AI and how we can give them real-time decision-making and knowledge assessment, and obviously all the way to the agentic AI. And this framework has actually been recognized, and we speak of that recognition across the region. Resilient, just going back to the resilient pillar. So within the resilient pillar, we also serve our customers in a number of ways. We have a very big portfolio when it comes to security, from our SOC operations across the board. So we deliver identity, network, and endpoint security wherever we are present as footprint, and also the availability, considering where we reside as an adaptability, where we reside as sovereign cloud. We're also a multi-cloud provider. We work with the top hyperscalers, and also add to that many elements to improve availability, whether be it on the backup services, the DR services, and the modernization of the infrastructure. And this what really delivers resiliency and value to our customers. Speaking of the recognition that I was referring to, and to show that it's not just us saying it. So IDC, which we all know, have recognized ZainTECH recently as a market leader in Gulf countries in delivering AI professional services. And this is just one example of how we have been recognized throughout our journey. Whether be it in our cloud operations, in our infrastructure as a service, we've always been pioneers and recognized across the footprint, and Gartner we've been recognized there as well. So why does this matter? This matters from the sense that whatever service we deliver, we make sure that we're delivering to the best capabilities out there, to the most recent frameworks, and we also deliver it with a big focus on resiliency and making sure of this the product and business continuity for our customers. So, all right, I think it's time to get into the product. Thanks again. I'll hand over to my colleague Push, who will be walking through the product details, and we're happy as we said to answer questions, whether be it now or at the end of the session. Thanks again. Over to you, Push.
Thank you, Mustafa, for that introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Kush. I'm the technical sales consultant based out of the Dubai ZainTECH office. I manage the digital offerings in the UAE for ZainTECH, and it's a pleasure to meet all of you. I'm very excited about the session today. But before we get started, we'd like to please understand a bit more from you about your barriers that have been preventing you from modernizing and essentially centralizing your video surveillance. So we'll give you 60 seconds and we'd love to hear from you what the barriers are. Are they bandwidth oriented? Are they storage cost concerns? Are they security or compliance concerns? Or is it just too complex and you haven't had a chance to get around to it? Hope everyone's voted. We'll be finding out the results soon. Okay, interesting. So we have the results here, and they're quite spread out, just as we expected. It looks like 29% of you just have not come around to it. There are 32% of you that have security, compliance, and data residency concerns, which is very, very valid. And then you have bandwidth limitations at 18% and storage costs at 21%. I see that compliance seems to be the bigger hurdle, and I'm glad that this has come out. This was quite expected. We'll be discussing this and addressing all of these concerns in a bit more detail as we move forward into the conversation. And this is actually a great segue into the next slide, because I'd like to talk about each of the problems in a bit more detail and focus on them. Because in the past few years, the region has seemingly embraced the migration of data and applications to cloud, be it sovereign or public, but the same momentum has not been observed and has not been followed by the migration of CCTV videos into the cloud, mainly due to compliance restrictions, but also due to bandwidth and storage concerns, as you've highlighted. Meanwhile, cameras are getting better. They're advancing. There's higher resolution, more sensors, and that inevitably drives up storage costs. More storage obviously means more CapEx requirements, more complexity, more management, maintenance, physical space is required, cooling, electricity consumed, heat generated. Meanwhile, you're still being asked to add additional cameras, increase integration with other access control systems or IoT systems or fire and security systems, to add analytics, to deliver more intelligence. while still complying with local regulation for retention periods would just keep going up, right? So you're being expected to do all of this, but staying within somewhat similar budgets as before. So through all of that, majority of the time, you don't have the operational insight that all the footage can give you or should be giving you. You don't have centralized surveillance or the ability to perform virtual inspections, security inspections. So you're spending more, dealing with more complexity, but you're not getting the value that you should be getting out of the system. And that really is a spiral in every sense of the word. And that is why the timing of this conversation is not incidental. I think it's time for all of us to work hard, to work smarter and not harder. And we're hoping that ZainTECH's VSaaS offering or smart video offering will help you achieve that. So ZainTECH has an existing mature advanced VSaaS offering that currently offers in Kuwait, but we're pleased to announce today that we're launching the same initiative in the UAE and in Saudi Arabia. There are 3 main modules to the solution, and we'll deep dive into each of them as we move forward. The first one being VMS and video storage in the ZainTECH cloud. The second one being video analytics, and the third one being video compression. Please keep in mind that video compression and video analytics can be deployed on-premise if required. We can also take a hybrid approach if you require it. Our offering is not restricted to being completely on cloud or to being completely on-premise. The offering is flexible, and you're not required to procure all 3 solutions that make up the video offering. You choose the solution that works for you, and as part of our managed services, we monitor the health of the application in ZainTECH Cloud. We monitor the infrastructure, the VM, the camera health, the NVR status, and we flag and alert any problems as and when they appear. What I would like to be clear about at this point is that ZainTECH will never have access to your video feeds. We have zero visibility into your video content. We manage the infrastructure and the application for you, not the footage. So your video remains yours and yours alone. I'm certain that your heads are buzzing right now with questions related to regulations, and you've clearly highlighted that as the main hurdle in the poll earlier. So let's talk about some of the regulatory requirements, such as data residency, encryption, role-based access, log files for audits, right? Because these do need to be addressed if you're going to decide to make them. Your videos will sit in the ZainTECH local cloud. As Mustafa explained earlier, we have data centers all over the region, right? Which helps you meet the requirement of hosting your data within the country. In fact, one of our customers, actually, existing customers in Abu Dhabi, was able to secure approval from ADMCC, which is the regulatory authority for the Emirate of Abu Dhabi in the UAE. We have already received approval from them to compress the videos on premise for our customer and then move them to the ZainTECH cloud. So you can also set up role-based access to your videos, and log files are also available for any regulatory audits. I'd like to address connectivity and redundancy here, because the ZainTECH VSaaS platform has native Profile G integration with some selected NVRs, which prevent loss of video. Whenever the connectivity is back up, we're able to pick the video up from the exact timestamp that the video was lost from. We can do custom integrations as well if you use an NVR that we don't have the Profile G integration with. We also have our own encryption, so our platform has native encryption with around 128 bits that store the video securely. We don't store your video in open formats such as AVI or MP3. Your video will be tamper-free and protected because each file will have a hash value as well. If you prefer, though, to use a key management system, it is possible with some additional resources from our end. You're free to absolutely choose the number of days for the retention of your video from our end. There is no minimum requirement for the number of days that you store the video for. So some of our customers will retain the video for 24 hours, while others would like to retain it for up to 120 days. Alongside the web portal, I'm pleased to say that you also have the capability of viewing your feeds on a mobile app securely, and this will allow you to do remote visual in virtual inspections. And in cases of emergency, this can be key for situational awareness and actions. I think we've now touched upon quite a few regulatory hurdles and problems that may have been the blockers for you that you may have been concerned with. But by solving those problems, I want to highlight the positive case for moving your feeds to the ZainTECH cloud. By moving your feeds to the cloud, you allow for high availability, redundancy, centralization, ability to monitor virtually in events of emergency. Yeah. So with that said, we'll move forward to the deep dive into each of the offerings that the ZainTECH Smart Video platform has. And I'll start with a video. This is a quick snapshot of 4 cameras that we have moved into the ZainTECH cloud, into the VMS in the cloud. So you can see that there's role-based access here. You can see your videos. You can distribute them by the grid that you like. We had only uploaded 4 cameras here. So this was live. This is actually currently running live in our Dubai office, and we recorded this video for the purpose of demoing it to you. So you can see that it has quite a few options. All the options that an on-premise VMS would have are available in the ZainTECH VMS in the cloud. I'm not going to go through each of these capabilities in more details. We are absolutely available to discuss them with you in detail, but as you can see, you can play back, you can record, you can design passwords, alarms, zoom in, zoom out, configure video walls as you like. Yeah. So we'll now move forward and talk about video analytics. Many of you will be aware of this technology, but for those of you who may not have come across video analytics before, video analytics at its core is a software technology that taps into the RTSP streams of on-with IP compliant CCTV cameras, accesses their feeds, and performs real-time analysis to generate actionable real-time insights. This technology is great because it utilizes your existing CCTV hardware, foregoing the need to install additional devices or cables. Our analytics capabilities cover use cases spanning from health and security to crowd analytics to security to license plate recognition and forensic research. In summary, though, all it is smarter real-time data collection. The technology has been in the market for quite a few years now, and it's being used in many different sectors. It's become quite lean, in my opinion, over the years, and efficient in the way it uses your network, in the way it deploys itself. Back in the day, the technology was going into your VMS, dragging it over your network. That was a big load for you to carry, and it was taking quite a few. It was taking quite some time to generate the analytics, but now it's very lean and efficient. It's not a burden on your network. It doesn't use up as much compute, and it doesn't need the storage space that it did in the past. But it's more about what you do with the data that's generated, right? So this is just video analytics is just a starting point to start generating insights and to help automated decision-making, efficient decision-making, real-time decision-making. So at ZainTECH, we have the capability of integrating metadata that's generated with other sources, such as your CRM databases, your ERP systems, your BMS systems, to generate better visualization, understanding, and automating actions as a result of the data. You can also take it up a notch, really, with AI and ML to generate predictive analytics, which is the trend that we're seeing in the market right now. And I'd also like to show you some very interesting use cases that we have. So here are some examples of the analytics that we offer. This one being my favorite, really, because it links your POS data directly with your camera feeds over overlaying receipts and transactions, the text onto your video and storing it in a searchable database. And this lets you instantly pull up video footage specific to the transaction, making it much easier to detect cashier fraud, any checkout irregularities, discrepancies that standard video surveillance solutions would miss. So as you can see in this video, you have a place where you can enter the item that was purchased, and because the system had overlaid the text over video, it's able to bring up the exact segment where probably the theft took place. And this allows you to even deter crime, not just catch crime, but also deter crime. In many industries, shrinkage is a very big issue. So this will be ideal for those applications. Yeah. Moving forward, we'll go into queue detection. So you're able to install thresholds for queues. So if you think that a number of 8 people is quite a long queue and you'd like to have an alert pop up, that's exactly what you see happening on the right-hand side in the video here. And then we have a visitor counting. This is basic people counting. We can obviously also generate heat maps based on your location that are quite visual in nature. We can also design dashboards for you, incorporate AI and ML into it, perform integrations, bespoke integrations. These are some off-the-shelf solutions that you see. Yeah. We'll now move forward into video compression, probably the most exciting part of the session today, and I think we're doing okay on time. We've got half an hour left, so we can dedicate a good amount of attention to this. So for the very first time in the Middle East, ZainTECH is proud to introduce an emerging and proven technology called ZainTECH Video Compression. It is also a software solution, just like video analytics, that works well on-premise or in cloud. But what makes it unique is that, till date, it's the only technology in the world that is capable of compressing video while keeping the image quality, the frames per second, and the codec, the video format, intact after compression. I'll be showing you a short video, but before I do that, I'd like to request you to please keep an eye on the right-hand side of the screen. You'll see 2 video frames running simultaneously. One of them is compressed, and one of them is original uncompressed feed. I'd like you to watch closely and see if you can spot any differences between the two, and I'll reveal the answer shortly. So as you can see, compression is taking place on one of the frames. One of them is compressed, one of them compression does not alter quality of color or pixels in any way. And this is important because this means that you can run compression on videos where you may already be running analytics. So your facial recognition, your LPR, or your color detection will, in the video analytics area, will not be impacted if the video is compressed. On the left-hand side of the screen, the dashboard, it has 2 sections. One is input and the other one is output. Input suggests the video before compression, the metrics of the video before compression, and output displays the metrics after compression. And as you can see, they're the same except for the bitrate, which has reduced significantly the bandwidth. You also have a dynamic counter where you'll see a percentage moving in green color. This is dynamic compression taking place in real time. It is indicating the percentage of compression taking place. So as you can see, you have 93% compression taking place in the video currently. And you can also see that you have analytics, motion detection running on the right-hand side of the screen, where the analytics are not being tampered with or rated because of compression. So just to give you the answer, the top screen was the compressed feed and the feed on the bottom was the uncompressed feed. And as you can see, there's no visual or observable difference in the video. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. Yeah, am I audible? Okay, great. Thank you. Now, the most common question that we receive is, well, all of this is great, but does this technology work with my existing infrastructure? Can I make good use of it if I've already invested into an existing deployment and I've already installed, say, 200 cameras at my asset or at my premises? If you have existing NVRs or servers, you don't need to rip them out. You simply apply compression at the edge or centrally at your central command and control center, and suddenly you can add more cameras, or you have lag-free video. You can extend your retention periods in your video storage servers without touching your existing storage servers at all. You could even delay your next CapEx cycle, allowing you to maximize your returns from your existing investment and extend output from it. With rising hardware costs these days, supply chain issues, delivery delays for hardware and for chips, this solution becomes even more relevant by the day, by the hour, I would argue. If you're planning on a hardware refresh or deploying new CCTVs at a new site, compression changes the equation completely and significantly. You could cut your cooling costs, your power requirements, your carbon footprint, really, and your storage requirements, your bandwidth requirements from day one. You could even go cloud first, thanks to compression, because you will not be taking up as much bandwidth anymore. And you could then achieve the lowest total cost of ownership that you have had in years from the onset, with fully predictable monthly costs. If you're in a more complex situation where you may have a closed network, where the network may be overloaded, and you have sensitive sites, where you're trying to follow specific regulatory requirements, if you're critical infrastructure, we work with you to ensure that compression fits your environment and your constraints. We design the technical architecture with you and make the solution work for you. So there is no wrong starting point, really. Whatever stage you're at in the video journey, compression fits in, yeah? And I think I'd like to now hand over to my colleague Omar, so he can actually do a quick technical deep dive and take you through the technicalities of the solution. So Omar, I'll hand it over to you now, so you can introduce us to the technicality of the solution, please.
Sure. Thank you, Kush. Thank you all for joining and sharing interest on the products. So let me give you a quick technical overview about ZainTECH compression. So once we are talking about compression, which means we are dealing with the CCTV IP surveillance cameras, ZainTECH compression is a real-time video compression software. We deal with any CCTV IP camera brand. So whatever you have, we can take the feed and compress. The benefit that we bring for the compression is 90% reduction on both bandwidth and storage. So speaking about the bandwidth, which means once we compress by 90%, which means we will improve the network performance, which means less traffic over the tunnel, less delay and latency. This will allow you to transmit your data from an edge to data center or to the cloud over any connectivity. Now, focusing on the connectivity in the region, we may use multiple connectivities, and it could be a limited connectivity. So starting with cellular connectivity, 3G, 4G, 5G, maybe an MPLS, point-to-point, it could be a microwave link or other types, and so on and so forth. So generally, when we are facing, the main issue that we face is the tunnel and the limitation of the bandwidth. Here, the compression will come in handy and help to transmit your data as it is via any limited connectivity. The other way, once we compress by 90% on the storage, which means we will increase the retention days using the existing infrastructure, either the servers, the hard disk, and so on and so forth. So this is the main benefit that we bring on the bandwidth side and the storage side. Now, speaking about the technology, it is a built-in technology. This is our own technology that we built it. It is working over the standard codec, which means we do with MJPEG. It is an old technology, but still we can compress. H.264 and H.265. Now, quick, H.264 can compress 20% by standard. H.265 is a new technology that can compress above H.264 by 50%, while our compression can do 90% above H.264 and H.265, which means giving more benefits and more compression. And retaining, the most important part is the factors, which means the codec, frames, and resolution. As Kush said, that we are a loseless algorithm, which means we can keep the same codec, H.264 input, H.264 output, after we compress, keeping the same FPS, which means there's no loss in the frames for security perspective, and keeping the same resolution. There is no rescale at all. Now, there is no limitation at the software itself, which means you can go with the substream, you can go with the mainstream, 4K plus, input, output the same. Quality, which is the most important part, after we compress, we retain it to its origin, which means there's no loss, there's no declaration, there is no quality image bad. We fix all those things. Now, as you can see, the compression processing time, which is very important for security. After we compress by less than 17 milliseconds for the cameras. Enabling, as I mentioned, enabling the streaming over any limited connectivity, which means if we go to an example, if we have multiple sites and we have a centralized data center or to the cloud, at the edge, so at the edge, we have different type of deployment. The main or the recommended one is the edge or on-premise, which means we will set the software within the camera, local switch, take the original feed, start the compression, and then transmit it to the cloud or to the command and control. Now, the algorithm itself, it works with the standard protocols, which means we can deal with the RTSP as a streaming protocol or ONVIF. Both are a standard streaming protocol, which is compatible with any third parties. For example, if you need to integrate with any VMS, you can do that. If you need to integrate our compressed feed with the AI solution, you can do that and start building over it. Now, this is the compression algorithm versus the common or the new thing that we call smart codec. What is the difference between ZainTECH video compression and the smart codec, which is H.264 plus or H.265 plus or ZipStream or WiseNet or different names? Now, if we are talking about the smart codec, they are doing optimization, not compression, which means, give a quick example. Your cameras is 2 MP at 2 megabit per second. And then smart codec is enabled. When it works, how it works, the smart codec will work. If there is no motion at all, the camera itself will optimize itself to reduce the bandwidth to the minimum. For example, instead of 2 megabit, it will be like 100 kilobit. Or they do FPS optimization. For example, if the original is 25, no motion at all, the smart codec will reduce the frame from 25 to 8 or 10 frames, which means for security, it cannot be used because there's frame drops, you are losing data. While compression, which means ZainTECH video compression, we have the continuous compression with or without motion. So all the time, you will have the full frames, full resolution, and optimization or compression on the bitrate. It depends on the scene or what happened on the motions. And as I mentioned, the quality-wise, we keep it retained and we don't have any limitation. We can transmit over any limited connectivity. Now, compression going to 90% on the storage side, which means we will make it more efficient on the back end or the data center itself, which means less maintenance. This is more important, less servers needed, less power consumption, heat, carbon footprint, and other values that we bring after we do the compression. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, if we deployment, we have distributed which means multiple location. We have centralized deployment. The focus always we love to do is the distributed, which means we will bring two benefits here on the distributed module, bandwidth and storage. On the left side, you can see this is the site A and site B. As an example, you have multiple sites. You have a central data center, central command and control. Now at site A, we have a bunch of cameras. It will be connected to the LAN switch and then ZainTECH compression edge device. Now the edge device will take the original feed directly from the camera or the MVR using the RTSP or ONVIF as a streaming protocol, taking the feed, start the compression at the ZainTECH edge device. Once we compress, then we will start transmitting using the uplink, which is any connectivity, to the data center. The same concept at site B. ZainTECH device connected to the same camera switch, take the feed, compress, and transmit. Now, once it reaches the command and control, it will directly feed the VMS, the existing VMS, using the RTSP or ONVIF generic driver for the integration. Now, once the VMS are fully integrated for one time with our compressed feed, now the VMS will take the control of our compressed feed. On the VMS, you can do the recording, you can do the playback, you can do the export, and then you can show it as a live feed over the video walls. So in here, you have for 90% compress on the bandwidth, and then if you need to record it at the central location, you have 90% reduction on the storage side. Next, please. Now, the centralized, it will be more about the storage. So the same, it will be all your cameras will be transmitted as original feed to your central command and control. Once it reaches, there will be ZainTECH compression server. It depends on factors, number of cameras, resolution, and codec. Then we will determine the server specification. Here, the server will take all the original feed at the data center, compress it, 90% reduction, and then you will take it to the VMS, store it for archiving purpose for a longer period of time. But again, looking at the most recommended is to go with the distributed because two benefit, bandwidth reduction on the tunnels plus the cost of the bandwidth, and then on the storage at the cloud or at the premise data center. Next, please. Here, the same concept. If you need directly from the edge to the cloud, the same concept. On the camera side, you will put the ZainTECH compression device, compress it, reduce by 90%. Directly, it will go to ZainTECH cloud. And then you will have also the benefit of reduction on the transmission by 90% if you are using point-to-point, MPLS, DIA, or any type of connectivity. Here, you will have 90% on the bandwidth reduced, and then it will go to ZainTECH cloud. It will integrate using the standard way, which is over RTSP or an ONVIF. Everything we are dealing with the standard. So you can use the benefit of the compression with the standard, and then ZainTECH cloud will take all the management, recording, playback, and live stream over their cloud.
Thank you for that, Omar.
Thank you.
We're excited to be taking this technology to the market with you.
Over to
Let's now talk about the return on investment, right? Because it's the numbers at the end of the day that matter. There are different ways of looking at this. We can start with the bandwidth use case, or the case of saving on bandwidth. If you were spending around $10,000 on it, imagine if you could reduce it to $2,000. That's an 80% reduction. And what you could do with the savings and how you could reroute them internally in your operations. You'll also be saving on cloud storage. If one stream was taking up approximately 100 gigabits per month, it'll now only take up 20 gigabits per month. That's a storage saving, and that's also a cost saving. And as the number of cameras multiplies, so does the storage saving. If you're deploying a new project where you're deploying new cameras and you were planning on deploying 20 video storage servers, you're now only going to need 4. And that also, by the way, reduces your waiting time because you're only waiting for 4 to be delivered instead of 20. And if you have an existing infrastructure, with compression, you could achieve many different things. You could delay the refresh of your hardware, right? So you could defer the CapEx. And money saved is money earned. So you could extend the retention period. You could potentially upgrade your cameras. You could add new cameras. You could save the video for 40 days if you were previously able to save it for 10 days in the past. So the larger your infrastructure, the more the cameras, the bigger the savings. And these are just some examples that we wanted to display for you to give you an idea of what you can get out of this solution. Some of our customers are already actually making use of this technology in their premises and realizing the benefits of this technology. I want to note that while the names of the customers are confidential, these are live operational deployments. In public safety, for example, law enforcement agencies and police departments are using video compression to monitor crowded areas, remote areas. Sometimes they're using in remote patrol cars so that they are able to receive a lag-free or drop-free clear video in real time. There are some of our customers who are in the maritime and logistics industry, a port operator really, who are using this to centralize and unify their camera feeds from different terminals. There, the challenge is large sites, multiple terminals. It's the sheer load of surveillance and the limited network capacity, of course. So compression makes it operationally viable to do that. Now, we also have some customers in the telco industry who use compression mainly for the ability to utilize bandwidth better. With this, they're able to deploy the technology and cameras at large-scale live events. Could be football, could be cricket, could be a concert. They use it for temporary scalable deployments instead of permanent installations. And with this, they're able to monitor videos better and also reduce the bandwidth that's required to transmit the video. A very big local developer in the UAE is also utilizing the technology because they wanted to monitor multiple residential communities centrally, but they also wanted the capability to visually inspect the different residential communities in cases of extreme flooding or unexpected rains or emergencies or security incidents. And they were able to achieve this with thanks to ZainTECH Smart Video. They have consolidated the videos in our platform in the cloud, and they've also now added IoT sensors and readings from that into the same platform, so that they're able to monitor the readings, the actual readings from the sensors, and have a visual inspection capability. So this allows for them to act swiftly and prevent any inconveniences, from coming up for the residents. So 4 very different industries, as you can see, 4 different challenges, but they're all using ZainTECH Smart Video Solutions, and they're able to target their situation with great efficiency. Before we move into the commercial model, I'd like to pause for a moment for our final poll, because this will help us to tailor the next part of the conversation. We would like to understand where your organization is currently on its video intelligence journey. So where you stand as of today. We'll have 60 seconds for this. I hope everyone's voted. So let's take a look at the results. Looks like they're still loading. Khalil, I think you should be able to vote on the right-hand side of the screen. Okay, we have the results. It looks like you're looking to modernize, which is excellent, which is 67% of you. So I love that. Everyone's forward thinking here and everyone needs a change. Some of you, 25% of you already have a solution and are looking to optimize. So we'll welcome conversations with you and look at how we can generate potentially some savings for you. And we'll look at the right solution that fits your environment. Okay, so I think we have 5 minutes left to go in the webinar. So we'll give you a quick overview of the use cases that you could start to mull over and think about. For the sake of clarity, we have narrowed it down into 3 main segments: multi-branch, government, and industrial. You could be a bank, you could be a school, you could be a university, and start thinking about all the use cases that ZainTECH Smart Video could help you with. It could be critical infrastructure, municipality, police departments, airports, oil and gas, construction. Each has their unique requirement, but we're able to address all of them. Moving into the commercials, the beautiful thing about ZainTECH Smart Video is that we take the load on us of deploying the solution, configuring it. We provide you with hardware, software, licensing, infrastructure, the managed operations, all for one predictable price on a monthly basis. So we take all that headache and hassle away from you. We work with you in a certain way to do that, and I'll go through that. But the beauty of the solution is that it's meant to be OpEx, so that it's not heavy for you to get started with. You can start small and scale as you like. It's very flexible. As I've said, you don't need to go for all the modules or solutions that we've shared today. You can pick and choose as you like. So highly, highly tailored to your needs. We start by working with you and understanding your environment, your infrastructure, your existing pain points, your goals, and then design the solution around you. And that's why the solution looks very different for every industry, okay? So we'll now move into questions so that we can discuss any concerns that you have. I know I saw many pop-ups coming in. So let's take a look. Rahil will absolutely be sharing the presentation with you post the webinar.
The first question, Kush, is SaaS will take care of CERA and ADMCC requirements?
Very good question, and we get asked this all the time. So as per the regulations, it is required for you or your designated system integrator to contact the authority and ask for the approval. We can help you draft that request for approval, but it's usually a quick email to them, and they respond anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks, and you have your approval. And that's what we've experienced in the past as well. So unfortunately, we will not be able to ask for the approval on your behalf because of the regulatory requirements.
Okay. The second question is there any active client in KSA, and how about SAIs and NCA compliance?
We can talk about Saudi Arabia. We are only just launching it. Keep in mind that we're only just launching the solution in Saudi Arabia and UAE. So while we have some customers who are already being onboarded in the UAE, We are speaking to some very strong prospects, some supermarkets who are looking to move their feeds in the cloud and perform analytics on them. So we'll very soon have customers proven customers in KSA.
If the retention days are not limited at your end, what is the trade element? I think he's referring here to just the retention policy and. Yeah.
Thanks. Yes. From what I understand, you're asking us, we are not mandating a minimum number of days for retention. We're not asking you to store your video with us for at least 30 days. It really depends on you. So one of your feeds will be going to CIRA or to ADMCC or to the regulatory authority as per the law. The other feed is usually stored traditionally on premise right now. What we're saying to you is either move that feed to the cloud or have a copy of it just for the sake of redundancy in the ZainTECH cloud.
Thank you, Kush. Arvind says we're evaluating options in building a business case. I think not a question, but that's good to know. Mohammed is asking, we have a traditional CCTV system and looking to modernize. The best reflects an organization that already established video surveillance infrastructure, but is seeking to improve it through modernization. Again, I think it's just a comment. Mohammed says, does the camera system include AI-powered video analytics and search capabilities, allowing users to retrieve relevant footage by asking questions or entering descriptive text queries?
Yes, absolutely. This is possible.
Great. I'm interested in video compression, application server, technical details. How does your solution handle bandwidth optimization when managing multiple remote sites with limited connectivity?
We manage this through the video compression technology. We look at the infrastructure and basically if required, we place a small hardware component, an edge device. It could be a Raspberry Pi, and we then compress the bandwidth for you and take it to wherever you need, whether it's ZainTECH Cloud or to your command and control center. On premise or again in the cloud, anything's possible.
Great. And the last question is, what is the expected ROI timeline for organizations migrating from traditional NBR-based surveillance to cloud-managed platform?
The ROI timeline is quite effective and different for every industry and every infrastructure though. So we would need to go into a bit more detail to understand how it can deliver that for you. We work with you closely. So I'd love to get in touch, Mohammed, and discover how we can make that happen for you as soon as possible.
To add to that, I think as well, right, Kush, what we do is we kind of do a ROI analysis along with you by understanding specific costs, etc., as well for internal organization and management approvals. Can your platform integrate with existing Hikvision and Dahua cameras without requiring a full hardware replacement?
Yes, we can.
We understand that government and semi-government entities have recently imposed restrictions on the installation of CCTV systems at construction sites where such systems are typically required. Could you please advise whether you have any communication with authorities? Additionally, we would appreciate any updates on your system of how it complies to the latest requirements.
Certainly, we can discuss that in more detail. I'm assuming that the restriction on the construction sites also refers to the territory of Saudi Arabia only. We have not experienced that in the UAE yet. But are you looking to install cameras at construction sites despite the restriction? Because if there are no cameras, none of these solutions apply. All of these solutions start with the existence of a camera. So if there are no cameras on the construction side, none of these solutions work. We always work with the local authorities and obtain their approvals before we deploy anything. And so far, we've not received any issues in any territory, not in Kuwait, not in Saudi, not in the UAE. And this is because the video does not need to be compressed after it's been decompressed after it's already been compressed. The quality remains exactly the same. And this is why the authorities and the regulatory authorities generally don't have a problem with it.
Great. I don't see any other questions. So I'll give it a minute, but if not, I'd say don't let your video data remain as an untapped asset. Visit the landing page that we're sharing in the chat currently. 1 second. It has additional resources. It has a option for you to schedule a meeting with a technical expert if you want to discuss your existing systems. And also we will have the webinar recording uploaded there, so you should be able to view that. No, 1 second,
Yes, that's right, Arvind. You're correct.
There we go. And if there's nothing else, thank you all again for joining us today, and we look forward to speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.